Yo, 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 guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Warriors Invitational. It's your boy Gotham, my boy Matt. Brother, how we doing today, Matt? Welcome back. Welcome back to another show. Chuckster, we'll miss you, brother. See you on the next one. Hope you enjoyed this. Held it down last episode with our guy Jam, breaking down that Celtics just debacle, and then their season and everything like that. Great episode. Go take a listen. But Matt, how we doing, brother? We back on.
Doing good, man. We are here. We are also, guys. We hopped on Slim's podcast earlier today, so go check that out, please. No, doing good, man. Played a little one-on-one today with one of my best friends growing up. He spanked me. I hit like six threes in my face. It was nice. I'm feeling it in the hips. I'm feeling it in the ego, but it's good, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Go check out Slim's pod at the Galaxy Pod. Me and Matt hopped on earlier today. Kind of talked about some similar stuff that we're gonna get into tonight, but figured, with a little break in Warriors action, a couple days off. We get one out for ourselves as well. So Slim, thanks for having us on, brother. See you on here soon. But Matt, just kicking it off, man. Kind of what we before we kind of hopped off last week, the road trip, Warriors go 3-1. Solid road trip. I know a lot was made about the Celtics loss, and Chuck obviously covered it and everything, but just right before we get cracking on, man, how did you feel about that road trip? Satisfied, happy? Just what was your kind of mood going into this little mini break of
So
3 days?
3-1, you kind of just you rock with, right? You take it. I feel like especially with this team, you can't really complain, man. And I'm one to complain, and there's an opportunity. Okay, so no, you're really feeling good. I mean, obviously, you don't want to see any team get blown out by 60 points against Boston on any day of the week, right? But I don't think I wasn't phased at all by that loss. Man, I'm gonna be totally frank with you. I don't think you were either. But listen, you get three wins. You know, one of those wins in Toronto was an actual like horrible scenario as far as like timing goes. They get in at 7 or 8 a.m. into Toronto. Second night of back to back. They play another game in Boston, 30 hours later, right? 36 hours later. You take it, man. And I know there's a lot of talk, and I think it's reasonable. This team has not beaten a lot of full strength teams, but we say this every time, right? Part of being at least a decent team is beating the shitty teams, right? Beating the teams that are injured, right? And the Warriors are doing that. So I'll take it, man. I got no qualms or issues with that 3-1 finish.
Yeah.
Also, my guy, guys, if we don't know, Gotham and I are both Cal Poly Mustangs, and Gotham right now is repping the Goat Bar
Shout
in
out Frog Peach.
downtown San Luis Obispo, Frog and Peach. Gotham, I have a different version of that shirt because I was not around for the 25th anniversary. But hey, shout out Slow, shout out Frog and Peach. If you're ever out there, go see some live music and have a good time.
Amen, brother. Shout out San Luis Obispo. What a time to be alive. Best 4 years of my life. I'm sure Matt can attest to that.
100%.
Yeah, man. Getting back. Shout out from Peach. That was sick. Great, great
Great
spot.
bar, man.
Great bar. Love it. Check it out. But no, I'm with you, man. The 3-1 road trip. I think that was our expectation or hope going into it. I know we recorded right before that. And yeah, I mean, look, that you played the Wizards. They played you tough, and you kind of had to play that one to the end. The Knicks was a great game. I thought obviously you're just getting Brunson back, no Julius Randle, but again, a team that has been going through their own problems. So that fast start was great to see, and then like I said, that Toronto win was awesome. It landed at 8 a.m. and you played 7:30 that night in Toronto time, East Coast time, whatever.
I think it was earlier. Yeah, yeah.
Something like that, whatever time. Yeah, it was a wacky road trip, and then to end it at Boston. Like, look, man, I was I wanted them to rest Steph that game. Obviously, the whole knee bursitis or whatever that is, flaring up so just felt like hey, they got the job done, 3-1. Look, yeah, as long as you're winning these road trips, you're winning these games. I don't really care at this point. Like you said, Matt, like we can get into the nuance of, is this team going to make a championship run, or they going to win a playoff series or two, whatever. But right now the goal is just to get there, and to get there, it's going to take road trips like 3-1 and stuff like that. So definitely happy about it. Big guy that was missing on the road trip, Andrew Wiggins, officially back today. So Wiggs, obviously, again, another family matter. Hope, prayers out to the Wiggins family. Hope everything's doing well on their end. But again, similar kind of timing as last year. Obviously Wiggs missed whatever the last 28, 29 games of the regular season, came back for the first round. But Moses Moody in his place stepped up in the starting lineup. Pods missed a couple games in there as well. But getting Wiggins back, getting Pods back on Wednesday for the Bucks. Just talk to me about Wiggins' return, man, because Wiggins had an up and down year. We've been chronicling that all season. But before his little mini hiatus, he was playing well for the most part. Him, Draymond, JK really just kind of shoring up that defense, just being that, offensive threat. You're getting that, like we said going into the year, that 16, 18 points a night. And, Wiggs was kind of getting back to that on a consistent level. What does it mean now that Andrew Wiggins is back? Both from Wiggins' standpoint of how he's been kind of playing his way into this season, but also from a lineup and rotation standpoint, because obviously Wiggins back, a lot of guys, some more than others, are going to get impacted and might change up what the rotation has been over the last 4 or 5 games when guys like Moses and GP, JK, all those guys have just kind of stepped in, taking those minutes.
Yeah, I think what it means, at least to me, is just this team, their ceiling is available now, right? I think without Wiggins, like you can say what you want, he's not having a good year. You mentioned that he'd been playing well before he left the team for a bit. That's totally accurate, but this team, we're getting to the longest stretch of the year, right? This is not it's go time, right? Which kind of, a lot of people are kind of upset the Warriors tossed the Boston game. Again, I say schedule loss, to each their own.
Yep.
But if this team wants to be their best, if they want to go on any kind of run, regular season, postseason, uh, they need Andrew Wiggins.
Yep.
Like they need Andrew Wiggins. They need him to be his best. They need him to be healthy. They need him to be able to shoot the ball. They need him to attack. They need him to defend. They need what he brings. And so, whatever happens, I love Moody. I think Moody's gonna be a starting wing in this league as soon as next year. Maybe even for the Warriors. Who knows? You know what I mean? But maybe even when Wiggins is back, we'll get to it in a second, right? But uh, they need Andrew Wiggins. If he's here, this team has a chance. I think if he's playing well against any team in the league, they definitely miss him, and they're going to continue to miss him if he's not himself. But as far as I'm concerned, the ceiling is at least attainable now. Whereas if we're looking at Moody and Pods as the only guys kind of holding that spot down, it's just not. It's not the same.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, like, look, man, this team, we said it with Draymond when he was missing time, like this team's not built to win without Draymond. This team's not really built to win without Andrew Wiggins. And to be fair, I think they're better built than they were last year.
At least not long term. They can.
Long
They
term,
can
yeah, long
again
term for sure.
road trips against some bad teams. I feel good
100%.
about
Like
it.
for over the course of an 82 game season, yes, you can go stretches without Wiggs. You can go stretches without Draymond. They looked good in the first few games that he missed in that suspension. But overall, like you said, just the defense that he brings. I mean, if this team, like you said, if they want to go on a run, Andrew Wiggins in 2022, I just want to remind everybody, was the second best player on a championship winning basketball team. And he is very much capable of reaching that level again. So to think that this team's ceiling does not get higher with a guy like that back in the fold. Granted, yes, is he had a tough year? Yes. Has he played better? Of course, but with Wiggs there, with the way he's been trending, the way him and JK look next to Draymond, the way you can kind of play him a lot of different lineups now, just with Pods, with Moody, with GP, next to Steph, without Steph, with CP. There's so many different combinations that you can put Wiggins out there, and to have a guy that can lock up another team's best player is so underrated, and you miss that, and you need that in the playoffs because that is where guys make their money, and it's on the defensive end, and so for Wiggs to be back, I think it's huge. And I think you hit on why it's so important, Matt, because there's 22 games left. We're sitting here at 32 and 28. What is that? 60 games into the season. So they're in that, playing hunt, trying to sneak out of that playing into that 5 or 6 spot. Obviously, there's so many, just every night, things are changing just on a nightly basis in terms of the standings. But the Warriors have the easiest strength of schedule with the teams coming up and the teams that they're stacked up against, and the Lakers, Pelicans, Mavs, Kings, Suns, whoever it is. So like you said, the time is now, man. Like it is go time. There really is zero excuse anymore. And I mean, the season's been full of ups and downs. Obviously, suspensions, guys missing time, changing of rules, not having a set rotation for the longest time. But they found a combination that works now. You've won 13 of your last 17 games. You're going into a stretch of the last 22 where every single one counts. You play like the Mavs 3 times. You play the Lakers twice. You play a bunch of shitty teams in there as well. You play Spurs a couple times. You play the Bulls coming up here on this road trip or this homestand. So the schedule is there for the taking and for the Warriors. And so to have a full squad back, man, to have everybody healthy, really for the first time, I want to say all season. Um,
I
and
think maybe there was like a 1 or 2 game stretch where Draymond had come back from his initial ankle injury and CP was
yeah,
healthy. But
maybe
I think
during that 6-2
yeah,
start, maybe that OKC kind of.
sometime there for a game maybe.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But again, like that's kind of just been what the MO of this team has been. You haven't really known what this ceiling is, and I've said it. I feel like all of us said they're better than I believe they're better than their record. In terms of obviously just all those blown losses, but also just the guys that have missed time, lineups and rotations not set. So you have that now. You know what's working for you, how you're winning these games. You kind of you've developed that identity as I think Steph said it on in one of the post games. So to have your full squad back, to have Wiggins back, I think that it's come at the perfect time, and you're going, and it kicks off, tomorrow night against Milwaukee at home, and Warriors haven't been that good of a home team this year. If we're being completely honest, they're either a game above 500 or 500 right there at home. You know, if you got what 10 games left to chase or something like that, gotta go win like 7 or 8 of those, at least, if not more. And to really take care of home court, man, because like you're gonna have the opportunities are gonna be there to move up in the standings. And as it sits right now, there are so many chances for the Warriors to get not even just into the play-in in the 7-8 spot, to even get out of it and really just secure a first round series. Nothing set in stone from 5 down. So yeah, it's great to have Wiggs back. But I also just think that from a from a lineup standpoint, you brought up Moses in terms of starting. Do you stick with that? Because obviously the guy that would be on the outside looking in, Steve Kerr already said Wiggins is going to be starting when he comes back. Guy that's on the outside looking in would be Pods, who we love. I mean, Pods has been a great asset to this team, just with the hustle plays, obviously leading leads and charges. The guy is just a solid ball handler, doesn't really turn the ball over that much. High IQ guy, but what we've seen from Moses Moody in the last 4 or 5, even 6 games when he started getting back into the rotation, just kind of brings another element. I think he's a bigger guard, 6'7" dude who you can slide in at the two. I think you said it on Slim's episode earlier today. Like you can toss out 3 guys in Moody, Wiggins, JK next to Draymond and Steph, and you have a very fully like functional, like height wise NBA lineup. So do you think Moses should start over Pods once Wiggs come back tomorrow?
I'm really torn, man. I kind of I know I may have said so earlier, and I still like I think that's probably the higher upside lineup. I do understand wanting to keep a second ball handler out there just because in my opinion, Steph looks tired, man. Like, in general, I don't blame the guy. He's done a lot of heavy lifting this year. He's played as many or more games through this point in the season than he has in a long time. So I understand the idea of keeping, you know, a ball handler like Pods out there, but I just think this team could really benefit from having consistent shooting, and I think that Pods can do a lot of the ball. I think we see flashes of him, being willing to put the ball on the floor. I think Moses is a better shooter, and I think he's more willing to put the ball on the floor when the time comes and make a play out of it. I also think just there's something about having size out there. It makes defense a lot easier, man. Steph just guards the weaker of the 2 guards. And you get Wiggins, Moses, and JK on the other forwards and that stronger guard. It's kind of just taken care of, right? So it just makes things a lot easier. I think Moody's a guy you can have out there and feel pretty comfortable with him guarding most 3s and 4s. JK, most 3s and 4s as well. Wiggins can guard 1 through 4 more or less, right? Um, just a lot more optionality on defense, I think. And I think again, that lineup's working, right? We know how effective that Pods in the starting lineup has been, but I just think I don't know how sustainable that is come playoff time. Granted, the Warriors have to get there first. So if the idea is right now stack up wins in this lineup we know works and see where it can squeeze Moody in. But I sincerely hope we're past the point of like the Steve Kerr, Moses Moody doghouse part of the season, right? I hope we're past that because Moody's been good. He's a good player. And it's going into year 4, man. And it's like if we can all acknowledge this guy can like spot start and your team wins games and he can play playoff games and start playoff games, and you feel most comfortable with that guy, you got to start finding 20 minutes for him. I think Pods is playing 30-ish minutes a night right now as a starter for the last little while. Like, hey, Toss Moses 10 of those. Sarge is getting 8 minutes. I'm sorry, Dario, you're not stopping anybody. I'm getting by Dario. Okay, give Moses Dario's 8 minutes. Okay, um, if it means cutting Clay's minutes down two to get Moses 20, I think it's fine. I do. Or Wiggins, whoever it might be. Like there are minutes for this guy who can shoot, who can defend, who hustles his ass off. They're there. So starting, I would like to see Moses in that starting role. I'd imagine if Steve Kerr is who we think Steve Kerr is, I think Pods is staying there. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I'm with you. I think like the other option obviously is to slide Clay back into the starting lineup. But I honestly love Clay in the bench role right now. I think just having a microwave scorer like that,
No
so
pressure, man.
no,
Just
no
go.
pressure. He's just
Yeah.
letting it fly, and he looks good. Last few games, coming off the bench ever since pre All-Star game, that last game against Utah. But no, I'm with you, man. I'd love to see Moses. I think I love Pods, but I also feel like Pods has gotten a very like not unreasonably long leash, but just uncharacteristic of Steve Kerr to give a long leash to a rookie like that. And not to say he hasn't earned it again. Like none of this like Pods should have less minutes thing is because of really anything he's done on the court.
Here's
But
like kind of the thing. It's like Pods. Steve Kerr fucking hates turnovers, man.
yeah, and Pods
He
doesn't turn
hates turnovers,
doesn't
and
turn it
Moody
over.
will do some like I love him, man, but he'll do the most. He'll do a Steph or Clay or Draymond type pass every now and
Yeah.
then, where you're just like that had no chance. And Pods is way closer to Chris Paul in that regard.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like Moody, I mean, Pods is like one of the biggest things is that he doesn't turn. I think he had like 5 or 6 games where he didn't turn the ball over in a row. So like the guy takes care of the rock. Like I look, I again, like none of this is coming from like I don't like Brandon Pajemski, but I feel like he has a very, very long leash. And again, you were saying that he's playing 30 minutes a night. You don't need that, man. Like there's times where I want GP in there instead of Pods. There's times where I want Moody in there instead of Pods. I think the biggest thing is the jump shot. Like you said, Moses is more consistent of a shooter. Shit, even GP, if that he's open in the corner, he's probably more consistent of a shooter than Paz is. And that's not to say Paz isn't going to develop into, a starting level guard. I think he's definitely got that trajectory. But like you said, for a team that's looking to get into the playoffs, for a team that's looking to make a run, I think having a more traditional lineup and why when you don't have to get a guy like Clay back in there, and you can keep him in that role, CP still in that backup point guard role as your sixth man. You have a guy like Pods or sorry, Moody who can come in, defend like you said on the ball, off the ball. He's been solid, but also just knock down an open shot. Man, you're playing next to Steph Curry, so you're gonna get those looks. Things are opening up for JK. Draymond's gonna find him. So like Moses is gonna be able to get opportunities to continue to make an impact on this team. And look, again, if it's not gonna be in a bench role coming off, trying to find spot minutes for him, let the kid start. Let him play him 16 minutes a night. Have him start 8 minutes here and spot find spots in there. But I think it's worth checking out at least just with what he's done in the last stretch of games. So I'm with you. I think if Paz is back, I think Steve Kerr starts him. If I'm being completely honest, sadly I do think it's going to end up being Moses is back on the riding the pine, but you never
It
know.
really shouldn't be, man. It's so
It
sad,
shouldn't be.
dude.
It's terrible. I'm convinced that this is all just a ploy to make his next contract just incredibly affordable. But
Gosh.
I digress. But yeah, man, I think the kids earned it, and I think it gives the Warriors an interesting element to start these games off. And every time he's out there, I mean, we said it last year, like every time he's been out there, you feel confident. Not to say that other guys don't elicit that, but Moody is one of those guys that you just kind of trust that he's smarter than he is at 21 years old or however 22 what he is right now. So no, I think it's worth looking at for sure. You have it's a deep team, so like if you're not gonna give the kid, I just don't know why you wouldn't have traded him then. Like you could have gotten you something back. So if he's there, you have an opportunity to play him. Um, just get it done. But who saw we've talked about upcoming stretch, 22 games, massive, but um who's your most important player on this team? And obviously like you can't say Steph or what, I'll take Draymond out of there too. I think those two are
Draymond's out. That was my pick.
yeah.
But
I think okay. I guess Draymond.
no. Take it away. It's fine. I'm gonna do a quick little Draymond rant because I think it's important. But
Yeah,
I also
absolutely.
have other players in mind still. Okay. Listen, just to be clear, Draymond has changed his team, man. They're top 10 defense and offense. He came back, I think, even top five. I haven't checked in a minute. Uh, I think the most important thing, though, my honest thoughts, and I'll get to the second guy in a second. Can he hold up the rest of the season? He's playing the five exclusively almost. He's banging with guys down low. Um, but the Warriors they've done an awesome job keeping his minutes low. Since he came back, 21 games played, he's only cracked or broken 30 minutes 5 times. So they're obviously making a pretty concerted effort to say, hey, we know you're getting banged up down there. We're going to keep your minutes low. Um, we're going to keep you healthy. If he holds up, I think this team can go, you know, I think 16-8 on the table, right? Or 16-6, pardon me. Um, I think it's right there. Now, if Draymond is off the table, which we're saying it is,
Yep.
uh, yeah, I'm not gonna overthink this too much. I think it's Wiggins, man. I truly think like, hey, we've said it. Um, he's still one of their three or four highest upside players. Um, and he's the guy when push comes to shove, they want guarding the other team's best player. He's the guy they want kind of as that secondary or third scorer on the team. Um, it's Wiggins and Draymond to me. Wiggins, if he doesn't show up the rest of the year and we get you know the shelved Wiggins we got the first 2 months of the season, they can snag the 60. It doesn't matter to me, in my opinion, man. I think it's curtains if he can't be 80% of what he was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Draymond, Wiggins, I think two solid picks. Wiggins was the first guy that came to my mind, but I was gonna overthink it a little bit. My most
Overthink
important,
it.
yeah, my most important player is our guy, man, Klay Thompson. I think Klay off the bench, just something about it just intrigues me so much. Just having, I know everybody talks about like his Ray Allen kind of era of like coming in and being that microwave scorer, but we've seen Clay get hot in stretches for like 4 or 5 of these games that he's now been coming off the bench and a couple clunkers as well. But dude, when he gets hot and gets rolling with that bench unit, like they're building these leads in the third quarter. That even the Nuggets game, that second quarter where obviously he had 23 in the first half, like it like not like in the snap of your fingers, they're up by double digits and they're running, they're playing. Clay's in a good rhythm. So I think if he can actually turn into like not to say he's not a legit like he's one of the most microwave scorers you'll ever see in the league, but like into that kind of just knockout punch off the bench, playing next to Chris Paul. That second unit, which has been so nice this year, just takes such a level up that you take the pressure off of guys like Steph and Draymond, who they're going out there obviously with the starting guys and playing with some younger guys, and like you said, Steph does look tired, so to have Clay come in just off the bench with Chris Paul and Trace Jackson Davis, Moody, GP2, whoever, whatever those combinations look like with that second unit, for them to come in, dude, I genuinely think that this team can add a couple more wins to that over under whatever that might be if Clay can find that consistently and. I think he just looks more smooth, like when he's set, taking shots in rhythm, his feet are set, he's catching. Sorry, but so I got choked up by thinking about how great Klay Thompson's about to be. No, but I think Clay, when push comes to shove, I think if he can, be that legit just microwave scorer off the bench, it just gives this team a whole another dimension. And so if he can get hot for the next, we saw it last year, Clay and Jordan Poole kind of saved that stretch when Steph was out. And so for Clay to come back playing next to CP, I just think that there's a good not a good there's a pretty good I'd be willing to bet money that Clay has a very very strong end to this season. Just because you're saving his legs, he's fresh off the bench and he's getting good looks every time, and I love how he's kind of the focal point of the offense when he's out there. I don't know, something about it is just a pure scorer, man. And sometimes you just need guys setting picks all over the floor for you, and he's getting to the rim, he's knocking down these shots, and he's got one of the best point guards of all time, getting him the rock. So, no, I'm excited to see that. I think Clay can really elevate the ceiling of this team off the bench.
I love that you brought that up. We haven't talked a whole lot about the bench player, about Chris Paul being back, but the fact that this bench is not just conceding leads and giving up major leads right now it's a gift. And also, like Clay just seems more comfortable out there. Like him being in the role, shooting the shots he's shooting, makes way more sense with that group, right? Of course, Trace Jackson Davis and Chris Paul and Gary Payton and Sarge should be setting up Clay Thompson, right? Of course, like in that group, he's the guy getting shots. It makes less sense in a group where you've got Steph Curry right now, you've got Kuminga, you're trying to really get going because the Warriors need what he brings, right? But when Clay's with that group, it revolving around him makes a lot more sense, I think, than it might have otherwise. It also takes a lot of pressure off him in a lot of ways, right? He's not forced to create for himself. He mentioned all the screens he's running off of right now. Um, Also, I'm not gonna lie, like having Chris Paul doesn't fuck around, man. If Clay's doing that, like,
Nah,
you
he's getting
know,
him the ball, and like I just
yeah.
want to say also for Chris Paul, man, like I know we all dreaded his return, just not because
Oh,
of what
I
he,
did, man.
yeah, I
I was
know
about to.
not
Oh
because of
man,
what he brings to the table, but how Steve Kerr would play him. Man, those there was a couple games on that road trip. I think it's Toronto and New York, I want to say, where that first unit to start the fourth quarter was like Chris Paul, Kuminga, maybe Trace. Kind of forgetting the other two guys out there, but they were both going on a run. Lead was either double digits or kind of dangling in that single digits, kind of that here we go again moment. Chris Paul setting up guys like Trace with the lob or taking that mid range jumper that is pretty much money. Although I feel like I've seen way too many misses. Maybe it's just because we're
Chris Paul been hitting since he got back there, man.
yeah,
He's been
no,
drilling
yeah.
everything,
I'm
man.
saying too many misses for like I feel like he never missed when we play him
Oh,
on the
yeah,
Clippers or
man.
the
Jeez Louise.
Rockets or whatever. But just that calming force that he brings. I think you said it earlier that you just feel more comfortable when he's out there, especially when he's not playing with Steph, when he's like the sole point guard and there's other guys out there when he has a lob threat and Trace, when he's got Clay on the wing, when he's got a guy like GP2 who can defend on the wings and just to pass. So I love what Chris Paul has done in his return. I think that again he's just going to be a very very integral piece to these last 22 games. And it's just exciting because it's really the first time. This is the team that we had in mind coming into the season. There wasn't any there wasn't any major trade deadline moves besides Corey Joseph. See you, brother. There wasn't any free agent signings or anything like that. The one move was the Chris Paul move, and then obviously Pods and TJD. So this is the team that we envisioned. Maybe the lineups are looking a little different than we probably thought. Maybe something that we had hoped, but definitely for the most important stretch of this season, it feels like the Warriors have finally put the puzzle pieces together at least. Now it's just about going out there and stacking some dubs, man. You got 22 games left. Matt, we got 5 games coming up. We got a 3-game homestand, and then we got two more on the road. I want to say that we play Milwaukee tomorrow on Wednesday, and we got back to we got
Confirmed.
we Chicago against it's a back to back, and then we've got a home and home with the Spurs and the Mavericks, and then Lakers are on that 16th after that, but we'll definitely record before then. Give me a prediction, man. Big stretch here. Obviously, 3 at home, 2 on the road, 2 against the Spurs, 1 at home, 1 away, and just a massive game against the Mavericks at the tail end of this. What's your record prediction? What kind of has to happen? What's your ideal scenario? And let's go from there.
Yeah, I mean, ideally they go 5-0, man. Right? That's
All
kind
right,
of like
well,
it's
fair,
even no,
fair.
but I say that because it's not even unrealistic. I think it's in the realm of possibility. Whereas normally I wouldn't say that, but this is a stretch where it's not like inconceivable. I think it's the inconceivable parts of this come from the Warriors being the Warriors, right? It's not because the competition's too much. It's not because they're not talented enough. It's just because this team does some incredibly dumb shit, right? Um, no, I think. Listen, to be frank, they should win every game. They should. With that being said, the odds of that happening, given what we know about this team, I'd say are very low. Uh, if they can go 3-2, I'll be satisfied. 4-1, I'm thrilled. 5-0, ecstatic, right? But 3-2, hey, if you lose to the Spurs once because Wembanyama goes for 40, 20, and 15, and JK and nobody can get any of the rim, yeah, that won't blow my mind. Okay, um, that Mavericks game, they have to win that Mavericks game. And you brought it up earlier on a text thread, man. The Mavericks, like this team is not a two-way team, but they have 2 of the best offensive players in the game. This is one of those moments where like I feel like Steph needs to find his groove because they're not winning a game where Luka is very clearly the best player in that game right now. I don't think. I think in the regular season on any given night, Luka probably has the higher ceiling right now. That's fine. Um, but Steph's got to be Steph in that matchup. I think for the Warriors to have a good shot because that team's going to put points on the board. Mavericks are going to score a lot. Luka is going to score a lot. Um, so no, I'm going to say 3-2. That seems like a safe bet. Um, with that being said, I'm excited to hear your optimistic prediction because I actually don't think this time. I don't think whatever you choose. I don't think it's stupid. So,
My man.
um,
My
not that
man.
I usually think it's stupid. Let me rephrase,
Nah,
but I
that's
think it
fair.
makes
That's
sense.
fair.
No, no,
I've
no.
looked stupid a lot this
That's not the word I want to
season.
use. All right, I don't want to use that word, but uh, I just want to say I think more so now than usual. I think my Eeyore might be like hiding in little caves. He might be more willing to like open the door and let some sunlight in. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Hey, well, hey, let me bring the sunlight, man. 5 and
Bring
0.
it.
5 and 0. 5 and 0. I think
You mean it. You mean it.
I mean it. I mean it.
Let's
I
go.
really mean it. I think 4 and 1 is my like worst case, to be honest. Like I don't think that they have zero business losing to the Spurs and the Mat or the Bulls. You're at the point of the season. You can't be losing to teams that you're supposed to beat. I don't care if Wembanyama beats Wilt's record and scores 100, you scored 102, whatever that is. You cannot lose to teams that are worse than you. And the Spurs are for all how great Wemby is, they're 13th or 14th in the West. Like you cannot drop that. You have two gimme games right there. You play the Bulls again on a back end of a back to back, but you're at home. Another team you should beat. So for me, it really comes down to that Bucks game tomorrow and the Mavs. The Bucks obviously no Giannis in their last game, still beat the Clippers. So very very dangerous. They're starting to figure it out. But
I
I
think
honestly
Middleton is
think
out. Just a heads up. Middleton's out. I think
Middleton's
for
out.
sure.
He gamed us last time. Great again, another great guy, great player. Um, I'm feeling pretty confident about that Bucks game, and this is why I'm kind of happy that the Warriors got their teeth kicked in against the Celtics and had a few days off. Kind of let that simmer. They knew that there was a schedule loss, but to get embarrassed on national TV like that, we've seen this team respond. In the playoffs and the regular season after stuff like that, and for all their faults, this Warriors team has a lot of heart. We saw it last year. We've seen it this year. They don't really get blown out like that, so I think they're going to come out tomorrow night, especially just ready to make a statement against one of the better teams in the East. I'm sure they hear the noise of the Warriors haven't beaten good teams or whatever this year. A great opportunity that against Milwaukee. But if they are to lose a game in that 5 game stretch, I would want it to be tomorrow. I'm with you. They can't lose that Mavericks game. It is way too big. You're a game now behind them in the standings, separated by they're tied in the loss column. So like you really are pretty much tied with Dallas right now. They are in the eighth seed, I think. And you're at 10. So um like you have 3 matchups against these guys. And if you're able to win all 3 of those, you pretty much I don't want to say guarantee a spot at least in the 7 or 8, but for all intents and purposes, you're probably going to be your seventh or eighth seed. And so you get 2 cracks at getting into the postseason. So that Mavericks game has to be like it's a playoff game for all I'm concerned. I agree. I think the Mavericks score a lot of points, but they also give up a shit ton of points. I was watching a little bit of that Pacers game today. They just got absolutely shellacked. Gave up like 135 against like Ben something Graham. Forget the fool's last name. They can't defend. And so Kyrie and Luca obviously just insane guys, but the Warriors have the defense to kind of put a stop to that. And then again, you got the Lakers after that. So like you have a lot of games, like they're winnable games, so you have to win those. And then there are some just insanely like standing implication games that are in the schedule as well. So that's where the opportunity is when you look at it and you see the standings and you see who's coming up on the schedule. These opportunities don't come that often. Like you have to take advantage of them when they are, and it just reminds me of last year. I think they had a similar thing where they had to go into Dallas, similar 6, 7 seed, and trying to stave off the Mavs coming back. Got out of the play and they went in Dallas, won that game. So another big game against the Mavs. They got throttled at Chase. Earlier this year. So again, another opportunity to do it, but I think 5 and 0 is very much on the table. I think it starts tomorrow. I'm excited for them to get back and play this Bucks team, who they played pretty well without Draymond and Steph. So Good opportunity to do that. And then, yeah, you have to win those next three and then circle that Mavs game.
When was the last time the Warriors won 5 games in a row? Is my question.
Honestly, it was
6-1. They were six
probably
and
not
one
that
for a brief
long ago,
second,
man.
right?
No, they won 6 in a row in February or 5 in a row in February.
5 in a row.
They went Nets, Sixers, Pacers, Suns, Jazz.
That's
For the
incredible.
also break.
I love that. Hey, if they can do it twice, man, I'll be thrilled. I also agree. I agree, man. I think you said you hit it on the head. To be clear, if they are who we want them to be, I agree. They should go 5-0.
And I'll just put this in perspective. If you can go 5-0 in this next stretch, you're 37-28. You're 9 games above 500. Like you're very much like forget about the hole that you dug yourself in. You very much dug yourself out of there. And 37-28 puts you, for all you know, puts you in the top six. Like if I'm being completely honest, Phoenix, they're throttling Denver right now, but again, banged up. Pelicans have a tough stretch coming up. The Kings have looked shaky. Play the Mavs, you play the Lakers. So there's gonna be like you have so many chances to jump these whatever 5 teams ahead of you, and a good stretch here can put you in such good position for the
Just
last.
get to 7 or 8, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
get that's my baseline goal. Actually, my ideal goal is you're on the other side of Denver, in the bracket. But again, it's just really at this point, just get in, however that looks. But if you can get in, stay on the other side of Denver, we never know, man. This team can make some noise. This team can definitely make some noise. But start tomorrow night against Milwaukee. Matt, let's get a prediction for tomorrow night, brother. What are we feeling?
I think it's Warriors win. I feel like I agree with you. Coming off 50-point loss, I think they show out tomorrow. Um, I think Wiggins is going to bring the effort. I don't know if the number is going to be there, but I think he'll show out as far as the defensive end goes. But if Giannis plays, they're going to have their hands full, man. So that'll be a tough battle. But no, I'm going Warriors win. I'm going to say 118, 113. Golden State Warriors, man.
I love it. I love it. Warriors dub tomorrow. I'm with you. I'll go. I like 118. That's a fun score. I'll go 118, 107. I think they
My guy, let's go.
defense kind of shows up. Hopefully Steph can kind of start to get back in some groove. It's been a few games a little off. Had a good game against New York, but not worried at all with Steph kind of figuring it out. But it would be nice to see a Steph versus Dame masterclass where Steph comes out on top yet again. But before we get out of
Steph
here, man,
master class. We get a Dame high school class. It'll be good.
yeah, the disaster class from Damian Lillard would be fun. Before we get out of here,
Dang,
Matt.
I wish I had said that, man. That's not going to be good. God.
Before we get out of here, brother, anything you got coming up? Anything you got shouting out?
No, man, keep following, guys. We're working hard to get guests on as often as we can. So keep following, keep listening. We're loving the sport, loving the interactions on the Twitterverse. Keep it coming. Also, keep reading Chuck.
Couldn't have summed it up better, man. Keep reading Chuck. Chuckster, we miss you, brother. See you on the next one. Yeah, keep following, keep subscribing to the YouTubes and the Instagram stuff. Excited to put out some of this content for the stretch run. But until the next episode, guys, let's go Dubs. Stretch run is here. We believe 2.0. But until the next one, guys.
I think we're on what? I think we're on We Believe 2.0,
It's like
5.0 right
2.0.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We believe 2.0 times 5.
that's
We're
right.
here, but it's happening. Get to the
Love that.
we'll get there. But thanks, guys. Peace.